So a white liberal, Bill Maher, and the black rapper Xzibit have a conversation about race on the podcast, and they got really weird really quick. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about an interesting conversation between Bill Maher and Xzibit. Now, if you don't know who these guys are, it doesn't really matter. All you really got to know is that one person is black, one person is white, and the white guy is a liberal, but kind of a normie liberal, not an extremist, LGBTQ, LMNP all the time. Not quite that, but he is most certainly a liberal. And Xzibit, I don't know about his politics. I think is more of a regular person, a normie, as you call it. This conversation got really cringe really quick. And this is what you're going to hear from white liberals as a black person. I didn't heard it so much, and it's been a consistent thing. When you're talking about racism, it's weird because a lot of people, a lot of black folks who don't know anything, normies, they will call me all types of racial slurs because I'm a conservative guy. Oh, you love the white man this, white man that. I'm like, I'm just a free black person. I'm not under the white man. A lot of the liberals who talk like that are still under the white man mentally. So they choose the liberal to align themselves with because they feel like they can achieve more things with him. I look at myself as independent. It's not the same kind of conversation. Now, before I go any further, let's get to a separate video, which kind of underlines my point. And of course, I will link to all my videos, everything in the box. If you're on IG, Facebook, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this.
Baffles me. I got into a debate with a white liberal over my supposed oppressive state of being. According to this white liberal, he is better than me because he is white and I am black. Therefore, I am oppressed because of systemic racism, and he would be able to get away with other things that I would not be able to get away with. And after I told this man, I'm not oppressed. I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful career. I have a wonderful education. I'm not oppressed. And, you know, he disagreed with me. He disagreed with me. He said, yes, you are. See, this is the issue I have with a lot of white liberals, is that they can't even sniff out their own racism. They're too busy calling out white conservatives. And I'm not saying that there aren't white conservatives who are racist. But what I am saying is that white liberals always want to point the finger at them. Meanwhile, they are too busy calling us, black people, second-class citizens through, you're oppressed. We have it better than you. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. And you know what? That's the whole thing. That was the whole thing during slavery. They had the same mentality back then because they look at black people as inferior, and they are benevolent and kind and gracious to allow us to live in their homes and raise their children and pick the cotton. It's like they're being virtuous when they do it. It's a good thing, right? That was the whole thing. And it's no different today. That's why they still look at us that way. That's what's going on. So why would I want to align myself with people like that? Republicans freed the slaves. Republicans say, hey, you go out there and get it on your own. A lot of your early black senators, black government people were Republicans. The message was, don't rely on the white man. You're free now. Go out and chart your own destiny. But some black people don't want to do that. They still want to be up under the white man. And they choose the white liberal to be with because that's always been their master. Guys like me and women like this young lady right here, we are free. We don't have masters. You see? Let's keep on going here. Let's get to Xzibit and Bill Maher. All right. Again, link will be in the box. This is from the Club Random Podcast. Fair use, please, Bill Maher. Don't give me no copyright. But I may pause it at certain points to avoid the copyright. But let's go ahead and roll it.
Today, the country is so divided and so different. In blue state areas, like here, if they,
I suppose here is California,
introduce this topic, because the way the white kids have been brought up on this subject, they're going to be like, oh my God, we're terrible people, we're oppressors. Whereas,
but see, that's a double-edged sword. We're terrible, we're oppressors, but also I'm able to oppress black people. I feel guilty about my position in society being better than black people. That's that mentality right there. It's a double-edged sword. You feel sorry for being superior. But what that means is that you're an apologetic white supremacist.
I feel this is wrong because kids, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You had Little League, you know.
Right.
And this was many years ago. But maybe when you grew up, or still in some places in the country where this subject comes up, maybe the white kids look at the black kids with scorn. Like,
no, the only time you have any kind of scorn is when people are not getting along. If you got black folks acting up and they're in a white space, that's when the scorn happens. But if you are just minding your business, you doing right, they're minding their business, they're doing right, people can live in harmony. The states that have the highest black population are in the South. But people like this will accuse Southerners of being racist while they live in places where there's never any black people to be found at all.
you know,
Except for if they have them inside of their homes doing chores and things of this nature, the same as it always has been.
Yeah,
See?
but there is,
You
what I'm
lost
saying is
that one.
whether those things, whether that feeling is from there or it goes into guilt or whether it goes into something that you could tell that this was now being introduced, right? And so now
I got to pause for fair use right here, but shout out to Xzibit. If you guys don't know Xzibit, of course, he's been around for a long time. He had the show called Pimp My Ride on MTV. That's probably where the majority of y'all would know him from, but I digress.
now you look at the systems and the things that have been, I guess what we have been dealing with, like from different ranges, racism does exist and all that stuff, but I definitely know from like the grade school onto the introduction of it. And then when you get into being an adult and you see how the, disparaging differences.
So maybe he's talking about just from his observation, being a kid and growing up, seeing how races are different and seeing how there could be conflicts between races living in one place together.
Between being able to, get a loan or not get a loan or how you identified or singled out. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, especially in this climate.
it's a real thing, but some of that they can measure,
Yes.
and they do.
Yes.
And we got to go by measurements, not feelings.
How do we measure it though, Bill Maher? I want to know that answer.
Correct.
Like you wouldn't use the blood work in your body from 1990. You'd use it from this year.
Correct.
So you could look at that loan thing was certainly prevalent. Still might be. I don't know. But when you look at the numbers, especially in the last 5 years, people know that there's a real spotlight on this. There has been a real effort.
Well, it's been turned up on purpose.
Of course, and it should be.
I want to pause right here. So the whole loan thing, maybe talking about redlining and stuff like that. I mean, what people fail to mention when they mention redlining, as in the practice of banks drawing a literal line around black neighborhoods and refusing to lend them money, what they fail to mention is that there were also black banks during this time. A lot of black banks, actually. There's still some black banks to this day. So why could it not get a loan from the black bank? Really, it's about your credit worthiness. Why would I lend you this money knowing you can't pay it back? And if you do that nowadays, that's called predatory lending.
But the question are there racists? Of course, there always will be, on both sides, by the way. But of course, more historically, it was not a two-sided thing. It's only recently become where, you could benefit as well as suffer, because we divide everything racially.
Right.
The country was built on the division of race. It was built on that. So we are now attempting to move forward. We've built a nation. We sacrificed. We're here now. But there's always that undertone of race. And that ain't really going to go nowhere.
But the question is, not whether there are still racists, of course. This word they use, systemic. How much is it in the system? Who is it holding back? And what are the real solutions?
Yeah. America
That's a pretty good question. Is it systemic? And what can we do about it? Good question.
got a real wake-up call where they thought DEI meant black people. It doesn't mean... Surprise, motherfucker.
What do you mean?
I could tell off rip that Bill does not agree with Xzibit when Xzibit is saying that America got a big wake-up call when they realized that DEI was not for black people.
No, I mean, I think it was funny, but you know, like when they started attacking the whole DEI thing, you know, black people were like the last level of that. It affected so many people before it got to black people.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Here we go. White liberal, white splaining, white liberal splaining. Let's hear it, Bill Maher. Tell me how Xzibit is wrong and tell me how I'm wrong.
DEI programs?
Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah.
It was there to even things out with black people. That's what the program, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Maybe that's what you were told from the marketing, but in reality, DEI helped white people and LGBT, specifically white women and LGBT in the workplace. Everyone except for straight white men. And if black people benefited from it, then we were on the last on the totem pole.
But it did, you know. But
who went first? Who jumped the line in diversity?
Well, I mean, in those settings, and what they're talking about is you know, primarily, you know, it was like women in the workplace.
Oh, women.
Yeah.
Well, women
before it got down to.
But see, women don't need help in the workplace.
Right.
That's how very often we're just so far locked into previous narratives that we get involved in what I
mean, nobody needs help in the workplace. You help yourself as an employee or potential employee. You become skilled, you become talented, then you put yourself out there and you sink or swim. That's it. Nobody needs help in the workplace. But some individuals just want extra. They want more. They want an opportunity that they wouldn't have gotten based on their own merit. Therefore, to use these programs to bogart their way into these spaces.
Keep calling zombie lies.
Yeah.
Like, it's a zombie lie. It was true, and then it became not true, but you keep saying it.
Yeah.
And that like, women did used to not be treated equally and like not paid as much just because they were women. And they weren't avenues open to them. Women now are leading in the workplace.
Yeah.
You know, they graduate more from college. It's the boys who are.
Now, I'm going to just pause right here and leave the rest in the box. But women are doing better than they have before when it comes to education, but they are not yet overtaking the men. Men are still making more money. Men are still the protectors, the providers, all that kind of stuff. We're still like that. And I think a lot of women kind of resent the feminist movement because what that did was make them go to work. And all that did was allow the United States government to tax both people and then spend it on whatever they want, foreign wars, etc. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Bill Maher and Xzibit for having that conversation. It's very interesting. A lot of the white liberals don't even see their own racism. For me, like I said, I don't care what color you are. I'm all about just, as an individual, you do what's best for yourself and for your country around you. Respect the laws of the nation and just be a productive part of society. I don't care what color you are. That should be how it goes for everyone. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this talk between Xzibit and Bill Maher? How you feel about the video in the very beginning about white liberals in general? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Very interesting conversation, but the white liberal, they full of racism. They don't even know it. From their point of view, they're being altruistic and benevolent, but from our point of view, they still see us as inferior. Now, to their defense, we can't be behaving in the way that we behave so often publicly if we don't want to be seen as inferior. That's why I preach my message and I live what I preach. Be self-sufficient. Do for yourself. You cannot rely upon this white man, because if you do, they will always see you as under them. And you're never going to be able to break out of that. You break out of that by being self-sufficient and independent. That's the only way. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.